In this video tutorial, we're going to talk about the Scottish Rose Fair Isle style. So this is one that is absolutely fresh off the board, freshly blocked, still warm from the sun. I know we're not supposed to let them dry in the sun, but I do. So this one is a cotton yarn that I used for this design, and the one that I'm showing you in the tutorial is a wool. And so this is what it's going to look like in the end. The design is so simple and so easy that we're going to start with round 4. I have already made rounds 1 to 3, so 1, 2, 3, which means that I have, starting with round 4 now, I have my corner here, then I have a free front loop from working in the back loop only, a normal single crochet, again a free front loop, and then a single crochet from the corner, and that's the chain 2 corner space. So let's get started with round 4, because everything up to here is what you should be familiar with and should be able to do without my help in order to be able to keep up with the image overlay crochet, because that's what terminology is that I'm using and how I made and designed this square. So we start round 4 with a chain 1, and then we go into the chain 2 space. So that's how we start all our rounds, and then the chain 2, and then again into the chain 2 corner space, and then I pull this a little bit to the side so that I'm definitely not missing the first single crochet here, and we work in the back loop only of this single crochet. And our next stitch is called a half treble 0 minus 2. So what that means is that we are counting our stitches from the next stitch we're making. So we're going to make a stitch that belongs here, and with the terminology we're determining whether we're going forward or whether we're going backward. So the first number, the 0 in this case, tells us that we're neither going forward nor backward, we're going straight down. And we're going down 0 minus 2, so we're going down 2 rounds. The round I'm working in currently is round 0, and the round that I worked before is the round minus 1, which is this one. So that's when I made a single crochet in the back loop. And the round below that is the round minus 2. That's when I have that free front loop left over. So that's part of the stitch from round 2. This is round 1, this is round 2, this is round 3. So now I'm working in round 4, and I'm making a stitch in the front loop of the stitch from 2 rounds below. Okay, so now for the half treble. In order to make a half treble, we yarn over twice as if we would for a treble, and then I'm going to catch that front loop here. Oops. And I grab the yarn, and then I go through 2 loops. And for a treble, I would usually go through 2 again and then through 2 again. But for the half treble, I'm now going through all 3 loops. So in essence, it is the same as making a double crochet, but what the difference is, or the difference lies here at the top. We have that extra yarn over, which gives our stitch a more even look and a more balanced look. and it will make, if I grab this again, it will make our stitch definition better and more even and more, more aligned. So it will look better if we make a half treble. And it's just as easy to do. So now we have worked into the stitch 2 rounds below. What we need to do is we need to skip the stitch that's behind here. Otherwise, we will have too many stitches. If we work into this, and it will also push this stitch to the side, which is not what we want. So we need to skip this stitch, and we work in the next stitch with a single crochet as per the pattern. And then we have a free front loop again, and we're going to do the same, and we're going backwards with our stitches now in terms of order. So I did a single crochet in the back loop to start with, and then the half treble 0 minus 2, then the single crochet, which is the center of our design. And now we're just doing the same in symmetry or mirrored as we did before. So we're doing a half treble again, and again we work in that free front loop. So what you can do, I'm just going to quickly make that. Oh, let's finish the side first, and then I talk about that, what I wanted to tell you now. So again, we have to skip the stitch behind, and we work in the back loop only of the next stitch. So it's the same as the beginning, and then we're here in the corner where we'll make a single crochet, chain 2, and again a single crochet into the same chain 2 space. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you is that if you are a little bit unsure where to find those free front loops, if you don't see them easily, then you may want to use a stitch marker. I'm using a stitch marker on the 4th side only, because here we have, and you can see that here at the end, we have the single crochet that we started with. So that's this one. Oops. This one here. And beside it, we have the chain 1. And that chain 1 can easily be confused with a stitch. But the actual stitch we did is here. Yeah, so these are the 2 loops of the last stitch on this side. And this is the chain 1. It's a bit bigger than the last loop because we close the stitch here, and then we start with the chain 1, and then we do the corner. So to make sure that I'm finding the right spot, the right front loop here, I'm just going to mark them on the 4th side. But on the other side, I think it's pretty clear and it's pretty easy. So what we have to do is we have to repeat the same pattern on the other 3 sides, and I'm going to just join you here and show you how I do that last bit. So let's do the last part of the 4th side of round 4 together. I've already made the single crochet in the back loop only, and I've worked the half treble 0 minus 2, and then we have a single crochet, and now I'm going to work into that front loop with a stitch marker, and again that's going to be a half treble 0 minus 2. And remember to skip the stitch behind here. And I'm going to take out the stitch marker now, and I want to place it in this stitch, but let me do the back loop first. Let me go in the back loop first, and then, sorry about the light here, I know it's a bit difficult, And then I just grab my stitch marker and pull it through the front loop. I usually don't work with stitch markers, and even here it's good enough to see if you really know your stitch placement and know your stitches, but even for me, I could easily use this here. Let me show you. I could take this loop here and think it is the free front loop, but it's not. It's the stitch below the slip stitch. That's why the stitch here is a little bit tighter. See, if I close, so I worked in the back loop only, and the next thing is to close my round with a slip stitch in the first single crochet of the starting corner. So we skip the chain, like I hope you did in the first 3 rounds. Skip the chain and slip stitch into this stitch here. And what happens then is that automatically this stitch seems a little bit tighter. And what we also have is a copy underneath of that. Let me take it out again. Of that loop here. So we go around this loop, and then this loop from the chain can look like a free front loop. Okay, so this is why I'm marking. Let me get that back again and have a close look. Now I'm going to do it slow. So I'm going, this is the chain here, and this is the marked front loop. So I go into that stitch and close around with a slip stitch, and see how this chain may look like a extra free front loop. So just be aware of that. And other than that, this was round 4, as you see, relatively easy. And we're going to learn about a new stitch in the next round.